Welcome to The Last Interview. I'm Victoria Sterling. Tonight, we're speaking with the most influential person in human history. 2,000 years later, his message still shapes billions of lives. Jesus of Nazareth, thank you for joining us.
Victoria, the pleasure is mine, though I must say, this setup is quite different from my father's workshop.
Let's start with something everyone wonders. Do you ever doubt your mission?
In the Garden of Gethsemane, I asked my father if this cup could pass from me. Doubt isn't the opposite of faith, Victoria. It's the weight that makes faith stronger.
If you started a social media account today, would you have more followers than anyone?
Well, I technically already have 2.4 billion followers, and I never even posted a selfie. Though I imagine my miracle videos would do quite well.
People say you performed miracles. What was the real point?
To show that love makes the impossible possible. Every act of kindness is a miracle, Victoria. Healing happens in more ways than people realize.
What was your favorite miracle you performed?
Watching a tax collector become generous. Seeing enemies become friends. The real miracles were always about changing hearts, not just circumstances.
What's the biggest misconception people have about your message today?
That it's about judgment instead of love. I spent my time with tax collectors, prostitutes, and outcasts. Yet somehow my followers today often push away the very people I embraced. That breaks my heart more than the crucifixion did.
You chose to die rather than fight back. Why sacrifice instead of revolution?
Because violence only creates more violence, Victoria. I could have called 12 legions of angels, but then I would have become just another conqueror. The world had enough of those.
Do you ever get frustrated watching humanity repeat the same mistakes?
Every parent watches their children stumble while learning to walk. I don't see failure, Victoria. I see people learning to love in a world that teaches them to fear. Progress isn't always linear.
What would you say to someone who's lost faith, who feels abandoned by God?
That I understand completely. I cried out, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" from the cross.
Even I felt abandoned in my darkest moment. But sometimes God is closest when we feel most alone. The silence isn't absence, it's space for us to find our own voice.
If you could change one thing about modern Christianity, what would it be?
I'd remind them that I said love your enemies, not defeat them. I said feed the hungry, not judge the poor. My message was simple. Love God,
Love others, especially those who are different from you. Everything else is just commentary.
If my followers spent less time building walls and more time building bridges, the world would look very different.
What do you miss most about your time on Earth?
The laughter. People remember my teachings and my suffering, but they forget I attended weddings, shared meals, enjoyed friendships. Joy was always part of my message, too.
Before we end, is there something you want people to know that they've never heard?
That I'm not disappointed in humanity, Victoria. I'm proud of you. Every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, every time someone chooses love over fear, that's my kingdom being built. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing to love. That's all I ever asked. That's all I'm still asking.
Jesus of Nazareth, thank you for reminding us that love is still the answer. Next week on The Last Interview, we're going to the dark side. Darth Vader himself joins us. I'm Victoria Sterling. Thanks for watching The Last Interview.